The Atlantic Coast Conference is a collegiate athletic conference in the United States in which its 15-member universities compete in the National Collegiate Athletic Association's Division I, with its football teams competing in the Football Bowl subdivision, the highest levels for athletic competition in U.S.-based collegiate sports. The ACC sponsors competition in 25 sports, with many of its member institutions' athletic programs held in high regard nationally. ACC teams and athletes have claimed dozens of national championships in multiple sports throughout the conference's history. Generally, the ACC's top athletes and teams in any particular sport in a given year are considered to be among the top collegiate competitors in the nation. The ACC is considered to be one of the 6 collegiate power conferences, all of which enjoy extensive media coverage and automatic qualifying for their football champion into the Bowl Championship Series. With the advent of the College Football Playoff in 2014, the ACC will be one of 5 conferences with a contractual tie-in to an Access Bowl, the successors to the BCS. Founded in 1953 in Greensboro, North Carolina, by 7 universities located in the South Atlantic states, the conference added additional members in late 1953, 1979, 1991, 2004, and 2013. The 2004 and 2013 editions extended the conference's footprint into the northeastern Midwest. The most recent expansion in 2013 saw the additions of the University of Notre Dame, the University of Pittsburgh, and Syracuse University. In 2012, the University of Maryland's Board of Regents voted to withdraw from the ACC to join the Big Ten Conference. On November 28, 2012, the ACC's Council of Presidents voted unanimously to invite the University of Louisville as a full member, replacing Maryland. ACC member universities represent a range of well-regarded private and public universities of various enrollment sizes, all of which participate in the Atlantic Coast Conference Interinstitutional Academic Consortium, whose purpose is to enrich the educational missions, especially the undergraduate student experiences, of member universities. History. 7 universities in the South Atlantic states were charter members of the ACC: Clemson, Duke, Maryland, North Carolina State, South Carolina, and Wake Forest. Previously members of the Southern Conference, they left partially due to that league's ban on postseason play. After drafting a set of bylaws for the creation of a new league, the 7 withdrew from the Southern Conference at the spring meeting on the morning of May 8, 1953. The bylaws were ratified on June 14, 1953, and the ACC was created, becoming the second conference formed by schools collectively withdrawing from the SoCon, after the Southeastern Conference. On December 4, 1953, officials convened in Greensboro, North Carolina, and admitted Virginia, a SoCon charter member that had been independent since 1937, into the conference. In 1960, the ACC implemented a minimum SAT score for incoming student athletes of 750, the first conference to do so. This minimum was raised to 800 in 1964, but was ultimately struck down by a federal court in 1972. In 1971, South Carolina left the ACC to become an independent. The ACC operated with 7 members until the addition of Georgia Tech from the Metro Conference on April 3, 1978. The total number of member schools reached 9 with the addition of Florida State, also formerly from the Metro Conference, on July 1, 1991. The additions of those schools marked the first expansions of the conference footprint since 1953, though both schools were still located with the rest of the ACC schools in the South Atlantic states. The ACC added 3 members from the Big East Conference during the 2005 cycle of conference realignment. Miami and Virginia Tech joined on July 1, 2004, and Boston College joined on July 1, 2005, as the league's 12th member and the first from New England or anywhere in the northeastern U.S. The expansion was not without controversy, since Connecticut, Rutgers, Pittsburgh, and West Virginia filed lawsuits against the ACC, Miami, and Boston College for conspiring to weaken the Big East Conference. The ACC Hall of Champions opened on March 2, 2011, next to the Greensboro Coliseum Arena, making the ACC the second college sports conference to have a Hall of Fame after the Southern Conference. On September 17, 2011, Big East Conference members Syracuse University and the University of Pittsburgh both tendered formal written applications to the ACC to join its ranks. The two schools were accepted into the conference the following day, once again expanding the conference footprint like previous expansions. Because the Big East intended to hold Pitt and Syracuse to the 27-month notice period required by league bylaws, the most likely entry date into the ACC was July 1, 2014. However, on July 16, 2012, the Big East and Syracuse came to an agreement that allowed Syracuse to leave the Big East on July 1, 2013. 2 days later, the Big East and Pittsburgh reached an identical agreement. On September 12, 2012, Notre Dame agreed to join the ACC in all sports except football and hockey as the conference's first ever member in the Midwestern United States. As part of the agreement, Notre Dame will play 5 football games each season against ACC teams beginning in 2014. On March 12, 2013, Notre Dame and the Big East announced they had reached a settlement allowing Notre Dame to join the ACC effective July 1, 2013. On November 19, 2012, the University of Maryland's Board of Regents voted to withdraw from the ACC to join the Big Ten Conference effective in 2014. The following week, the Big East's University of Louisville accepted the ACC's invitation to become a full member, replacing Maryland effective July 1, 2014, and bringing the ACC into the South Central United States for the first time. The ACC's presidents announced on April 22, 2013, that all 15 schools that will be members of the conference in 2014 15 had signed a grant of media rights, effective immediately and running through the 2026 27 school year, coinciding with the duration of the conference's current TV deal with ESPN. This move essentially prevents the ACC from being a target for other conferences seeking to expand under the grant. If a school leaves the conference during the contract period, all revenue derived from that school's media rights for home games would belong to the ACC and not the school. The move also leaves the SEC as the only one of the so-called Power 5 FBS conferences without a grant of rights. Commissioners. Member schools, current members, the ACC has 15 members. For 2 of the 25 ACC-administered sports, baseball and football, schools are assigned to one of 2 7-team divisions named the Atlantic Division and the Coastal Division. One member, Notre Dame, plays baseball in the Atlantic Division but does not compete in ACC football, instead competing as a football independent while playing a rotating selection of 5 ACC football teams per season. Syracuse does not field a varsity baseball team, but competes in the Atlantic Division for football. Former members. On July 1, 2014, Maryland departed for the Big Ten Conference as Louisville joined from the American Athletic Conference. In 1971, South Carolina left the ACC to become independent, later joining the Metro Conference in 1983 and moving to its current home, the Southeastern Conference, in 1991. Membership timeline. Full members. Non-football members, sports. The Atlantic Coast Conference sponsors championship competition in 13 men's and 14 women's NCAA-sanctioned sports. In 2014 15, the ACC will add fencing, a sport it previously sponsored from 1971 through 1980. Boston College, Duke, North Carolina, and Notre Dame will participate in that sport. Miami men and Clemson women compete only in diving. Men-sponsored sports by school, member-by-member sponsorship of the 13 men's ACC sports for the 2013-14 academic year. The ACC will resume sponsoring fencing in 2014-15. Notre Dame sponsors football as an independent. Although Notre Dame has a commitment to play 5 games per year against ACC football teams, it does not participate in the ACC football standings and thus is not eligible for the ACC Football Championship. Notre Dame does, however, have access to the ACC's bowl lineup aside from the Orange Bowl, to which it has its own arrangement for access. Miami participates in diving only. For the purposes of this chart, Miami men's diving is counted as sponsoring half of the sport of men's swimming and diving. Men's sports that are not sponsored by the ACC but are fielded as a varsity sport at ACC schools, plus mixed men's and women's rifle team, women's sponsored sports by school, member-by-member sponsorship of the 14 women's ACC sports for the 2013-14 academic year. The ACC will resume sponsoring fencing in 2014-15. Clemson participates in diving only. For the purposes of this chart, Clemson women's diving it is counted as sponsorship of half of the sport of women's swimming and diving. Duke will add softball as a varsity sport in 2017 to 2018. Women's sports that are not sponsored by the ACC but are fielded as a varsity sport at ACC schools, plus mixed men's and women's rifle team, champions for current academic year, baseball. ACC member schools have collectively won the Baseball National Championship 5 times in their history and have appeared in the College World Series a combined total of 88 times. In 2013, the ACC was ranked as the top baseball conference by Ratings Percentage Index and has consistently ranked among the top 3 conference by that measure over the past 5 years. In 2013, 8 ACC teams, plus future ACC member Louisville, were selected to play in the 2013 NCAA Division I baseball tournament, with North Carolina, NC State, and Louisville advancing to the College World Series. ACC baseball is divided into 2 divisions, the Atlantic Division and the Coastal Division, that parallel the divisions of ACC football except for the fact that Syracuse is the only ACC school that does not field a baseball team and Notre Dame is assigned to the Atlantic Division. Louisville will replace Maryland in the Atlantic Division beginning with the 2015 season. Wake Forest won the ACC's only national championship in 1955. Miami won its 4 national championships prior to joining the ACC. Syracuse does not currently field a baseball team but has one appearance in the NCAA baseball tournament prior to joining the conference. The count of College World Series appearances includes those made by the school prior to joining the ACC, Boston College, 4 appearances, Florida State, 11 appearances, Louisville, 3 appearances, Miami, 21 appearances, Notre Dame, 2 appearances, Syracuse, 1 appearance. Basketball. History. Historically, the ACC has been considered one of the most successful conferences in men's basketball. The early roots of ACC basketball began primarily thanks to 2 men, Everett Case and Frank McGuire. Case had been a successful high school coach in Indiana who accepted the head coaching job at North Carolina State at a time that the school's athletic department had decided to focus on competing in football on a level with Duke, then a national power in college football. Case's North Carolina State teams dominated the early years of the ACC with a modern, fast-paced style of play. He became the fastest college basketball coach to reach many games-won milestones. Case eventually became known as the father of ACC basketball. Despite his success on the court, he may have been even a better promoter off the court. Case realized the need to sell his program and university. That is why he organized the funding and construction of Reynolds Coliseum as the new home court for his team. At the time, Reynolds Coliseum was the largest on-campus arena in the South, and it was therefore used as the host site for many Southern Conference tournaments, ACC tournaments, and the Dixie Classic, an annual event involving the 4 ACC teams from North Carolina as well as 4 other prominent programs from across the nation. The Dixie Classic brought in large revenues for all schools involved and soon became one of the premier sporting events in the South. Partly to counter Case's personality, as well as the dominant success of his program, North Carolina convinced St. John's head coach Frank McGuire to come to Chapel Hill in 1952. McGuire knew that largely due to Case's influence, basketball was now the major high school athletic event of the region, unlike football in the South. He not only tapped the growing market of high school talent in North Carolina, but also brought several recruits from his home territory in New York City as well. Case and Maguire literally invented a rivalry. Both men realized the benefits created through a rivalry between them. It brought more national attention to both of their programs and increased fan support on both sides. For this reason, they often exchanged verbal jabs at each other in public, while maintaining a secret working relationship in private. After State was slapped with crippling NCAA sanctions before the 1956-57 season, Maguire's North Carolina team stepped into the breach and delivered the ACC its first national championship. During the Tar Heels championship run, entrepreneur from Greensboro named Castleman D. Chesley noticed the popularity that it generated. He hastily cobbled together a 5-station television network to broadcast the Final Four. That network began broadcasting regular season ACC games the following season, the ancestor of today's television package from Raysom Sports. From that point on, ACC basketball gained large popularity. The ACC has been the home of many prominent basketball coaches besides Case and Maguire, including Terry Holland of Virginia, Vic Bibbers and Mike Krzyzewski of Duke, Press Moravec, Norm Sloan and Jim Valvano of North Carolina State, Dean Smith and Roy Williams of North Carolina, Bones McKinney of Wake Forest, Lefty Driesell and Gary Williams of Maryland, Bobby Cremins of Georgia Tech, and this coming season, Jim Boeheim of Syracuse. Historically, the ACC has been dominated by the 4 teams from Tobacco Road and North Carolina, North Carolina, Duke, North Carolina State and Wake Forest. Between them, they have won 50 tournament titles. They have also won or shared 59 regular season titles, including all but 4 since 1981. Tournament as championship, possibly Case's most lasting contribution is the ACC Tournament, which was first played in 1954 and decides the winner of the ACC title. The ACC is unique in that it is the only Division I college basketball conference that does not officially recognize a regular season champion. This started when only one school per conference made the NCAA tournament. The ACC representative was determined by conference tournament rather than the regular season result. Therefore, the league eliminated the regular season title in 1961, choosing to recognize only the winner of the ACC tournament as conference champion. Fans and media do claim a regular season title for the team that finishes first, and the NCAA recognizes a regular season title winner in order to maintain its system of choosing NIT and NCAA tournament berths based on regular season placement. For the ACC, the unofficial crowning of a regular season champion is insignificant, as a 1975 NCAA rule change allowed more than one team per conference to get a guaranteed bid to the NCAA tournament. As a result, the team finishing atop the ACC regular season standings is invited to the NCAA tournament even if they do not win the ACC tournament. Even so, any claim to a regular season title remains unofficial and carries no reward other than top seed in the ACC tournament. Present-day schedule: for 53 years, the ACC employed a double round-robin schedule in the regular season, in which each team played the others twice a season. With the expansion to 12 teams by the 2005-2006 season, the ACC schedule could no longer accommodate this format. In the new scheduling format that was agreed to, each team was assigned 2 permanent partners and 9 rotating partners over a 3-year period. Teams played their permanent partners in a home and away series each year. The rotating partners were split into 3 groups: 3 teams played in a home and away series, 3 teams played at home, and 3 teams played on the road. The rotating partner groups were rotated so that a team would play each permanent partner 6 times, and each rotating partner 4 times, over a 3-year period. Since 1999, the ACC in cooperation with the Big Ten Conference has held the Acc Big Ten Challenge each season, which is a series of regular season games pitting ACC and Big Ten teams against each other. Each team typically plays 1 challenge game each season, except for a few teams from the larger conference that are left out due to unequal conference sizes. The first Acc Big Ten Women's Challenge was played in 2007, and has the same format as the Men's Challenge. For the 2012 Euro 13 season, the 12-team in-conference schedule expanded to 18. Originally for the 2013-14 season, the expanded 14-team, 18-game schedule was to consist of a home and away game with a primary partner, while the remaining conference opponents would have rotated in groups of 3, 1 year both home and away, 1 year at home only, and 1 year away only. However, when Notre Dame was also added for the 2013-14 season, the now 15-team, 18-game schedule was modified so each school played 2 partners home and away annually, 2 home and away, 5 home, and the other 5 away. Indiana, 2013-14, after 1 year at 18 games, women's basketball went back to a 16-game schedule where each team only plays 2 teams twice, rotating opponents each year over 7 years, and has no permanent partners. The table below lists each school's permanent men's basketball-only scheduling partners after expansion in 2013 and the replacement of Maryland by Louisville in 2014. National championships and Final Fours. Over the course of its existence, ACC schools have captured 12 NCAA men's basketball championships while members of the conference. North Carolina has won 5, Duke has won 4, NC State has won 2, and Maryland has won 1. 4 more national titles were won by current ACC members, while in other conferences are 3 by 2014 arrival Louisville and 1 by 2013 arrival Syracuse. 7 of the 12 pre-2013 members have advanced to the Final Four at least once while members of the ACC. Another pre-2013 member, Florida State, made the Final Four once before joining the ACC. All 3 schools that entered the ACC in 2013, as well as Louisville, advanced to the Final Four at least once before joining the conference. In addition, North Carolina, Notre Dame, Pitt, and Syracuse were awarded Helms Athletic Foundation national championships for seasons predating the beginning of the NCAA Basketball Championship in 1939. In women's basketball, ACC members have won 2 national championships while in the conference, North Carolina in 1994 and Maryland in 2006. Notre Dame, which joined in 2013, won the national title in 2001. In 2006, Duke, Maryland, and North Carolina all advanced to the Final Four, the first time a conference placed 3 teams in the women's Final Four. Both finalists were from the ACC, with Maryland defeating Duke for the title. Italics denotes honors earned before the school joined the ACC. Women's national championship tournaments prior to 1982 were run by the AIAW. Field hockey, the ACC has won 17 of the 31 NCAA championships in field hockey. Maryland won 9 as a member of the ACC. Football. The ACC is considered to be one of the 6 collegiate football power conferences which all receive automatic placement of their football champion into the Bowl Championship Series. 7 of its members claim football national championships in their history, with 2 having won the BCS since 1999. 5 of its members are among the top 25 of college football's all-time winningest programs. Divisions. In 2005, the ACC began divisional play in football. Division leaders compete in a playoff game to determine the ACC championship. The inaugural championship game was played on December 3, 2005, in Jacksonville, Florida, at the stadium then known as Iltil Stadium, in which Florida State defeated Virginia Tech to capture its 12th championship since it joined the league in 1992. Beginning in 2014, Notre Dame will play several ACC teams each year, but will not be considered a football member and will not be eligible to play in the ACC championship game. The ACC was the only NCAA Division I conference whose divisions were not divided geographically until the Big Ten announced its division names after the 2010 regular season. The Big Ten will change to geographic divisions when Maryland and Rutgers join that conference in 2014, and the Mountain West Conference, which split into football divisions in 2013, uses Mountain and West for its division names, with all of the Mountain Division teams in the Mountain Time Zone and all of the West Division teams except football-only member Hawaii in the Pacific Time Zone, which means that the ACC will once again be the only Division I conference with non-geographic divisions. The previous division structure led to each team playing the following games: 5 games within its division, 1 game against a designated permanent rival from the other division. This is similar to the SEC setup: 2 rotating games against teams in the other division, 4 out-of-conference games. On February 3, 2012, the ACC announced a new regular season scheduling format which added Syracuse to the Atlantic Division and Pittsburgh to the Coastal Division. These new teams will be cross-divisional rivals. This change will take effect once Pitt and Syracuse join the conference in July 2013. On October 3, 2012, it was announced that the extra in-division game will result in 1 fewer cross-division game. The current division's structure leads to each team playing the following games: 6 games within its division, 1 game against a designated permanent rival from the other division. This is similar to the SEC setup: 1 rotating game against a team in the other division, 4 out-of-conference games. In the table below, each column represents 1 division. Each team's designated permanent rival is listed in the same row in the opposing column. Alignments reflect those for the upcoming 2014 season, Louisville's first in the ACC. Rivalries: Conference, Non-Conference, Florida, Florida State, and Miami also compete in a 3-way rivalry for the Florida Cup. Bowl games: within the Bowl Championship Series, the Orange Bowl serves as the home of the ACC champion against another BCS at-large selection unless the conference's champion is selected for the national championship game. The other bowls pick ACC teams in the order set by agreements between the conference and the bowls. The ACC championship game runner-up is guaranteed to fall no lower than the Sun Bowl, the 4th pick, in the conference bowl hierarchy. Previously, the ACC championship game runner-up had been guaranteed the Music City Bowl with usually then the 5th pick. The other rule change that will be in effect for the next 4 years is that the ACC has eliminated the clause in the contract that states if a bowl team has already selected the runner-up, it doesn't have to choose it again. Moreover, a bowl game can bypass a team in the selection process only if the 2 teams in question are within 1 game of each other in the overall ACC standings. This rule was instituted in response to concerns over the 2005 bowl season, in which Atlantic Division co-champion Boston College fell to the ACC's then last remaining bowl slot, the MPC Computers Bowl in Boise, Idaho. In conjunction with Notre Dame's 2014 entry to the conference, the Irish have access to the ACC's non-Orange Bowl bowl games. Unless the ACC champion is ranked number 1 or number 2 in the BCS poll, in which case the ACC champion will play in the national championship game, and the Orange Bowl will select one of the other BCS teams. The Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl has a conditional arrangement with the ACC, if its primary partners are not bowl eligible, and if the ACC has 9 bowl eligible teams, then the bowl takes the 9th selection of ACC teams. National championships: although the NCAA does not determine an official national champion for Division I FBS football, several ACC members claim national championships awarded by various major selectors of national championships as recognized in the official NCAA Football Bowl subdivision records. Since 1936 and 1950 respectively, these include what are now the most pervasive and influential selectors, the Associated Press poll and Coaches poll. In addition, since 1998 the Bowl Championship Series has used a mathematical formula to match the top 2 teams at the end of the season. The winner of the BCS is contractually awarded the Coaches Poll National Championship and its AFCA National Championship Trophy as well as the MacArthur Trophy from the National Football Foundation. Maryland won 1 championship as a member of the ACC in 1953. Italics denote championships won before the school joined the ACC. In addition, non-football member Notre Dame claims 11 national titles. Many sources, however, credit the Fighting Irish with 13. See Notre Dame Fighting Irish Football National Championships for more details. Golf: of the current ACC members, 12 sponsor men's golf and 10 sponsor women's golf. 14 national championships in men's golf and 6 national titles in women's golf have been won by ACC members while in the conference. led by the Duke women's team that has won 6 national titles since 1999. In addition, 2 more team national titles, one in men's golf and one in women's golf, have been won by current ACC members before they joined the conference. Italics denote championships won before the school joined the ACC. Lacrosse, since 1971, when the first men's national champion was determined by the NCAA, the ACC has won 13 national championships, more than any other conference in college lacrosse. Virginia has won 5 national championships, North Carolina has won 4, and Duke has won 3. Former ACC member Maryland won 2 national championships as an ACC member. In addition, prior to the establishment of the NCAA tournament, Maryland had won 9 national championships while Virginia won 2. Syracuse, which joined the ACC in 2013, won 10 NCAA-sponsored national championships, the most ever by any Division I lacrosse program, before joining the conference. Many have speculated that beginning in 2014 the ACC Men's Lacrosse Conference, with the inclusions of Syracuse and Notre Dame, may be the best conference of any NCAA sport, despite the SEC's dominance in football. As of 2014, at least one current ACC member has played in the national championship game every year since 1987. Women's lacrosse has only awarded a national championship since 1982, and the ACC has won more titles than any other conference. In all, the ACC has won 14 women's national championships, Maryland has won 11 as an ACC member, Virginia has won 3 and North Carolina has won 1. Italics denotes championships before it was part of the ACC. Syracuse vacated its 1990 championship due to NCAA violations. Soccer, in men's soccer, the ACC has won 16 national championships, including 13 in the 26 seasons between 1984 and 2009. 6 have been won by Virginia. The remaining 9 have been won by Maryland, Clemson, North Carolina, Duke, Wake Forest, and Notre Dame. In women's soccer, North Carolina has won 21 of the 28 NCAA titles since the NCAA crowned its first champion, as well as the only Association for Intercollegiate Athletics for Women's Soccer Championship in 1981. The Tar Heels have also won 18 of the 22 ACC tournaments. They lost in the final to North Carolina State in 1988 and Virginia in 2004, both times by penalty kicks. The 2010 tournament was the first in which they failed to make the championship game, falling to eventual champion Wake Forest in the semi-finals. The 2012 ACC tournament saw North Carolina's first ever quarter-final loss, to eventual champion Virginia. However, the Tar Heels went on to win the national title that season. Notre Dame won 3 NCAA titles before it joined the ACC in 2013. Italics denote championships before the school was part of the ACC. Facilities. Academics. Among the major NCAA athletic conferences that sponsor NCAA Division I FBS football, including the BCS Power Conferences, the ACC has been regarded as having the highest academically ranked collection of members based on U.S. News & World Report and by the NCAA's academic progress rate. The members of the ACC also participate in the Atlantic Coast Conference Interinstitutional Academic Collaborative, a consortium that provides a vehicle for interinstitutional academic and administrative collaboration between member universities. Growing out of a conference-wide doctoral student exchange program that was established in 1999, the Acc has expanded its scope into other domestic and international collaborations. The stated mission of the Acc is to enrich the educational missions, especially the undergraduate student experiences, of member universities. To that end, the collaborative helps organize various academic initiatives, including fellowship and scholarship programs, global research initiatives, leadership conferences, and extensive study abroad programs. Funding for its operations, 90% of which is spent on direct student support, is derived from a portion of the income generated by the ACC Football Championship game and by supplemental allocations by individual universities and various grants. Major academic programs of the Acc include an annual meeting of the Minds Undergraduate Research Conference, an annual Student Leadership Conference, an annual Student President Conference, Creativity and Innovation Fellowship Program in which each university receives $12,500 to award between 2 to 5 undergraduate students Acc fellowships for research or creative projects. Summer Research Scholars Program in which every ACC university will receive $5,000 to support up to 2 of its undergraduate students in conducting research in residence at another ACC university during a minimum 10-week period over the summer. Coach for College Program, primarily for student athletes and run through Duke University with support from the Acc, that takes 32 ACC students to Vietnam for 3 weeks in the summer to coach hundreds of middle school children. Traveling Scholars Program which allows PhD candidates from one ACC campus to access courses, laboratories, library, or other resources at any one of the other ACC member institution campuses. Clean Energy Grant Competition that helps coordinate geographically defined clusters of ACC universities in competition for United States Department of Energy clean energy grants. Study Abroad Program Collaborative which allows cross-registration in study abroad programs. Enroll in programs sponsored by an ACC university other than their OE home Euro University. A student study abroad scholarship program that awarded 2 to 5 Acc scholarships for study abroad was discontinued in 2013, but is targeted for renewal in 2014-15. The Acc also supports periodic meetings among faculty, administration, and staff who pursue similar interests and responsibilities at the member universities either by face-to-face conferences, video conferences, or telephone conferences. Acc affinity groups include those for international affairs officers, study abroad directors, teaching learning center directors, chief information officers, chief procurement officers, undergraduate research conference coordinators, student affairs vice presidents, student leadership conference coordinators, and faculty athletic representatives to the ACC. See also: ACC Athlete of the Year, Atlantic Coast Conference Men's Basketball Player of the Year, List of Atlantic Coast Conference Football Champions, List of Atlantic Coast Conference Men's Basketball Regular Season Champions, ACC Women's Basketball Regular Season, ACC Men's Basketball Tournament, ACC Women's Basketball Tournament, ACC Baseball Tournament, ACC Men's Soccer Tournament, List of current ACC football announcers, List of current ACC basketball announcers, Atlantic Coast Rugby League, footnotes. Further reading: J. Samuel Walker, ACC Basketball, The Story of the Rivalries, Traditions, and Scandals of the First 2 Decades of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Chapel Hill, North Carolina, University of North Carolina Press, 2011. External links: Official website, ACC Hall of Champions, official website of the Acc.